I think society's, our viewpoint and our society's view and take on aging is really what perpetuated this, propelled me to write the book, because I am in that position where people ask me. I mean, it's amazing the things people ask me, but it was very interesting as I was turning 40 to get the questions of, like, that real fear, really having that put on me directly of, like, aren't you scared? Isn't this like the worst thing ever that you're turning 40? And I realized, because I wasn't fearful of it. I wasn't feeling shame about it. But all of a sudden, I felt like when you're told something over and over and over again, you start to consider it in a different way, and I started thinking, wow, should I be scared of this? And then I went, no, I'm not, because I feel strong. There's one of my favorite statistics in the book is that there's over 30 million women in the US between the ages of 35 and 50. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of voices. That's a lot of perspective. That's a lot of opinions. And if the majority holds the opinion that it's bad to age and it's scary to age, and that we should do our best to not look as if we are, then that's what is going to flood all of us. But if we can change that perspective, if we can change that mentality, if we can all decide together that we're not going to be influenced outside of our 30 million strong, that this aging thing is what we want to make of it, then we can push back.
Do you think that in general that women have a harder time with the psychological aspects of aging than men?
Definitely. I mean, I think it goes back to just the society's point of view on women, that we're supposed to somehow not age, that we're supposed to stay 25 forever, that we're supposed to defy gravity, that we're supposed to maintain our shine and sparkle and, keep everything high and perky. Somehow we're supposed to do that, or else we're not valuable any longer. So I think that it's just really a mentality. It's really just something that, because I think that women really, if we're honest with ourselves, we just get better with age. We get happier with age. We actually, one of the reasons I wanted to turn 40 is because I knew that I wouldn't give a shit about so many things, and I did. As soon as I turned 40, I was like, I really don't care, get out of my face, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, no, thank you, I'm good, thank you so much, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's such a freedom in that, and there's not just a freedom, but a value, because then you get to participate in life, in society, in relationships, in a completely different way that I think has more substance, that has more to offer. And I think that if we're really honest about that aspect of aging with ourselves and make that important and make that the focus of what our journey is, rather than the excruciating effort it takes to try to do something that is absolutely impossible, which is to pretend you're not aging.
Ginger Rogers Academy Award.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that if we can maintain a real true perspective, an honest perspective on what the actual value of aging is, then we would be alleviated of that torture that goes on an emotional level. Truth is that some of the greatest actresses currently, right now, who are nominated year after year for Oscars are all in their 60s and older, and they're doing wonderful work. They're doing the work of their lifetime. Yes, awesome. And then there is the younger girls who obviously, those women obviously can't play the 25-year-old roles, right? So the 25-year-olds obviously can't play the 70-year-old roles. But where does the 40, where does the middle land, right? Well, what happens is that projection onto us at that age when we still feel very vital, and it's like, I'm this woman that's capable and vital. Well, you can't play 25 anymore. You can't play 70. And to start considering yourself in a position where you have to go, I'll play the mom, or I'll play the woman in transition. Well, where's the stories about those women in transition? Well, the perspective of society for women who want to see movies, we're all still stuck. We're stuck in the past, or we're projecting into the future. We all have to accept where we're at. When women accept that they are where they're at and they say, I want to see stories that represent me, I want to see the woman in transition, give it to me. Again, that number, 30 million, is a big number. And as soon as the voices start saying, show me something real about myself, the people who make movies, the people who make television shows will start making those, because if there's an audience, they will take advantage of that. It's another step, it's another layer of self-acceptance, another layer of rejecting society's point of view and adopting our new point of view of aging. We will get more out of it across the board, including in the people in my position who are telling stories, and on the viewing side, where women want to see the stories that represent them, that help them make it through that transition, they will also start to gain from those, with that perspective and that voice. This was literally one of those things where I was just walking across my yard, and I think that the previous conversations, as we discussed earlier, where I was being asked constantly about this thing that I was supposed to be afraid of, and I was kind of walking across the yard just having worked out, thinking, God, I feel so strong and capable. Like, what is wrong with people? And then I went, oh, I get it. Aging. Nobody knows what aging is. What is aging? What is it? And I literally just thought, I want to understand what aging is on a cellular level. Like, what is happening to our bodies on a cellular level as we age? But I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to get that information or who to ask about it. So basically, after calling Sandra Bark, my writing partner, who I wrote the body book with, I said, I know what I want our next book to be. Would you like to join me in trying to figure out what aging is and what happens to us on a cellular level as we age? And she was kind of like, sure, yeah, great, sounds easy, And I literally just Googled that. I said, what happens to us on a biological, physiological level as we age? And gerontology popped up. And that was the first time I had a definition of what it was that I wanted to understand, what I wanted to study exactly. So it sort of underlined everything, it held everything as a science that I wanted to know. And then I learned very soon after that gerontology was a very new science, because aging was a new thing. It's only been happening in the last 150 years, and truly only in the last 70 years that we've really been able to expand prolong our life span. So in life expectancy. So we kind of jumped in there from there. And so the initial part of it was sparked from, the questioning of it. And then the real questioning for me of like, wait a second, forget about what society thinks and how they view it. I want to know what this means truly within ourselves, at the deepest, smallest part of ourselves. What does aging mean? And it is still very interesting to me that aging is still not totally, even with this science that's been around since the 60s, that it's not understood. We really don't know what aging is. They can break it down to, obviously, all aging happens on a cellular level. When we see a wrinkle is, our skin is just made up of cells. So if you see a wrinkle in your skin, that's happening on a cellular level. It's happening on the surface, and it's also happening deep inside, and then really truly at the deepest part of yourself, within your cell. So that being said, they can't stop it. They can't stop aging. They can't really, you can slow it down. You can somewhat reverse it with some behavioral changes if you have an acceleration of it. but you can't stop it. And but you can do it well. And that's really the point of the book, is that you can't stop it, but you can do it well.